ceremonies here for this special occasion. At this time, I'll ask Jay to introduce his family and special guests.
All right, over here we have Katie and Andrew and Megan, and across the table is Kayla and my wife Jackie, and I have my brother Rocky and Cleaner back there. I think that's it.
All right, thank you, Jay. At this time, we'll kind of go into some of the bio stuff. Lieutenant Colonel, or Colonel Yo, sorry, is going to go through some of the bio stuff.
Hey, real quick, thanks everybody for coming. When you look at Jay and the number of years that he's put in, and when you look at the faces out here, I couldn't even calculate how many years of maintenance folks we got in here. We got Al back there, he had 120, we had a bunch over here, but seriously, what a great turnout, and the family and Jay, I'm sure, appreciate it so much. But I kind of come up when we did his retirement from the military, when you dig into some time and you dig into the data, you talk about our families, and everybody here can relate how much you've been gone from your families while we served, right? While we served not only in the military, but while we served in our technician jobs. And so Jay, with his many years as a technician, in his many years, has come up to 2,132 drill weekends, 588 days of annual training.
No.
No, didn't say. Also keep in mind the additional drills that we always do, the military schooling, which comes up to about 600 additional days. So all in total, Jay spent 5,997 days, or 16 and a half years away from his family due to his technician and his military career. And we don't think about it as the years roll up, but in the end, it does roll up heavily. So, Jay, again, as I stated before, you've always been a close friend, a confidant. You know, when you kind of sometimes you have to make some decisions that don't make everybody happy, and you need to call on certain leaders. And Jay was one of those that I would say, hey Jay, what do you think of this? How do you think this is going? And he'd give us some pointers, because Jay's the guy that also isn't just going to sit back and be, yes sir. He's the guy that'll say, hey, this is the way I see it too. And I always appreciated that, Jay. But he did fail, okay? You got to remember, I got to give him a little dig here. He did fail. For a long time, we didn't have lights in the shop, you know. We got those, we got the lights fixed, but the phones, Jay, are the phones still working?
Today, maybe? Tomorrow, maybe not.
And that's kind of an inside story, because him and I talked a lot to CIO about where the hell are the phones and why aren't they working. But
I think Doc's got a better plan than that.
Doc's going to fix it. Yeah, by then we'll have it. But again, I have Sergeant Major Kurt Beese is here. He's the G4 Sergeant Major. And on behalf of us, we'd like to present you the G4 coin. And again, this coin is not given, it's earned. And you definitely have earned it, and also your family. So
I appreciate it.
thank you very
I
much.
really
And
do.
I know you're a hugger, so get it right here. Thank you.
So just some other positions and stuff that Jay has held. Chief Shears joined the South Dakota National Guard in October of 1982 as a 633 Whiskey wheel vehicle mechanic in 665. He stayed in 665 up through the rank of E7 and was eventually the track platoon sergeant. In 2002, he attended Warrant Officer Canada School at Fort Rucker, Alabama. He continued his service after that in 665 and assisted the unit in the conversion of the Company B 139th Brigade Support Battalion. In 2010, as Colonel Yo stated, he deployed to Afghanistan with the 196th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade and served as Camp Eggers Base Support G4 OIC. Upon his return from deployment, he went back to Company B. In 2014, he transferred to the 139th Battalion, where he served as an automated maintenance warrant in the SPO, the Support Operations Section. After 4 years in the 139th, he transferred to Joint Force Headquarters and served as the Command Maintenance Evaluation Team. Currently, Chief Shears serves as the Senior Ground Maintenance Warrant Officer for the South Dakota Army National Guard. He also served 33 years as a full-time technician in several different roles. He got his full-time start in 1991, and he's held positions as a tool and parts attendant, a fabric worker, a surface maintenance mechanic, a surface maintenance mechanic leader, a surface maintenance mechanic supervisor, and in August of 2021, he was selected for the general foreman of the CSMS number 1. There's pretty much every position out there, from the bottom to the top. So that's all I have for that. We have some awards to give you. Roger, if you want to come out, present some stuff.
Welcome to CSMS. Anybody there at the shop, we got you that, and a little gift certificate that'll help keep you out of Jackie's hair. She don't appreciate that.
I mean, it's not all about you.
You're right.
Right, you are. Then we got you a plaque too, presenting J.W. Schurz in recognition for 33 years of outstanding dedicated service as a technician for the South Dakota Army National Guard. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. Thank you, Jay. From November of 91 to December of 24.
Thank you, Roger.
We do have one more thing from the doc team. So, hey, you know, if you brought it up, we were going to have pulled pork today, but we'll be having pork loin. So to help you in your barbecuing experiences, Chief, we got you that so you can keep moving forward.
I probably need it.
So with that, is there any other stories? I know somebody's got stories out there. Is there any other stories you'd like to share about Jay at this time? Before we hand the floor over. Mike?
Yeah, I'm Sergeant First Class, happily retired now, Mike Brookbank, and I had the pleasure of working with Jay on his very first job with CSMS number 1 in Mitchell. Jay, in fact, both of us, we started as the lowest paid employees out at the CSMS 1 as wage grade 5s. I was a wage grade 6 at the time. Jay came in and took my position when I moved up to the tool and parts attendant, wage grade 6. Jay came in and took my position then. And we worked together, I don't know, how long was it? 2 years maybe, before you moved out to?
2 or 3.
Yeah, a couple of years, somewhere around there. So that's how I got to know Jay, and we became really good friends after that. And I could probably tell you a lot of stories, but
Let's hear it.
well, Colonel Hirschman isn't here. He probably doesn't want to know some of the stuff that went on. When he moved out to canvas repair, I tell you, I'd go out there to canvas repair, and one day I was upstairs. We had a whole bunch of stuff stored up in the warehouse, and I was trying to find something up there. And I was walking across the rafters, and I slipped and I fell through the ceiling. And Jay, I don't remember what you said, but we had that big hole in the ceiling there for the longest time. And then finally Jay came up to me one day, and he thought it was a good idea if we fixed that hole before Colonel Hirschman said anything. I don't know if he ever caught us on it, but
I'll let him know.
yeah, do that. But there was a time I had injured my back pretty bad, and I had gone into physical therapy, and my physical therapist told me I was going to be behind walker or a wheelchair. And first thing I was in the middle of a big remodel project on my house. I was residing it. And that really threw me for a loop. And the first person I went to was Jay. Because that really hit me hard. And I went over to Jay and I just broke down crying because I was in the middle of this big project. And Jay told me, he said, Mike, he said, don't worry about it. I got you. And he grabbed another buddy, Podorowski, and those two came over, and I tell you, I showed them what to do as far as how to side the house, and those two got more done in one day than I got done in 1 month. And they had that house sided in it took them about a month, but it was about 3 or 4 working days, and they had that house all sided for me. And Jay, that was 3 years ago, I think, and I am still paying that forward for people. It is, I just thank you for that. I will never forget that, for what you did for me, ever. That was the greatest thing you ever did for me. Out of everything we did through the military, I will never forget that, for what you did. We hung out a lot, we screwed around in that warehouse out there. I don't know how much, but this guy went from the lowest paid position out at the CSMS to the highest paid. That says a lot for his ambition and his drive. He helped me stay focused on my own career, and I have a lot of respect for you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was hard to follow.
Skip's never short words.
This may come as a surprise to some of you, but Jay is one kind of guy that expects people to follow the rules. I don't know if that comes as a surprise to you, but how many of you who remember Ed Meyer, Labor Relations Specialist, South Dakota? He was a mentor of mine. Just so those of you that don't know me, I'm very, very retired Command Sergeant Major Skip Regals. But that's not the important part of my relationship with Jay. I also worked with Jay for many years at CSMS in South Dakota. And early on, my relationship was I was the steward and then the president of the union in South Dakota, and representing the employees of South Dakota. And sometimes it's a tense relationship between management and labor. And when were you? Do you remember what year you were first promoted to supervisor at the job?
No.
Let's just say it's been more than a week ago. But when he was first promoted to supervisor, he provided some information to one of his employees. And that employee came to me and asked me about this, and it was really, really bad information. I mean, it was really bad information. And I called up Ed Meyer and I said, hey, Jay Shears just gave this employee this information, and what are you going to do about it? And Ed Meyer, in his very gruff manner, and just, you know, Ed passed here just a few months ago, but he said, well, I will tell you what, you can either go talk to him and tell him the ink isn't even dry on that damn promotion. Either you can have him call me, or you can go tell him that I can tear that son of a bitch in SF-50 up, or we can fix this. And Ed wasn't very happy. Well, we found out that the reason Jay gave this bad information was because Jay had been given bad information. That was what it was all about. And I went down and talked to Jay, and we fixed it, and Jay corrected it. And the whole point to this little diatribe is Jay was applying the rules as he was provided them. Jay he holds rules. And again, Jay wasn't giving this information. It was hurtful to the employee. It was something that he didn't like to give. Jay wasn't being hurtful. And I was just writing down something that I just wanted to pass on. And this speaks to the character, I think, of Jay Shears. And it is, he's got strength of character in delivering bad news, right? If it's bad news, it really doesn't matter. He's gonna deliver it one way or another. It doesn't make any difference, good news or bad news. If it's news you need to hear, he's gonna give it to you. But he also, when he found out it was bad news, or it was incorrect news, he backed off and he said, no, it was wrong. I found out it was wrong. He corrected it and he went forward. And he has wisdom of learning from that experience. He will find out, okay, it's wrong, I'm gonna learn from it and I'll move forward. And then he will apply that wisdom. That's another extremely strong character trait that Jay's got. And the reason I say that is a lot of supervisors, when they have that interaction with the union, they immediately develop an anti-union animus, right? The union's coming in and they're screwing with my day, they're making my life miserable, and they hate the union. Jay didn't do that, and the proof is in the pudding, because what Jay then became was one of the longest running, most active facilitators for our partnership council, which we appreciate what he did for us. So appreciate what he did for us. Thanks.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
Anybody else have a story they'd like to share?
I got one. I'm Eric Miller. I was electronics. I worked in the job for a lot of years. I didn't work with Jay personally a lot of times, but we had PT that we were allowed to do. We could do physical training. And at our shop, we only had a little weight room across at the armory, and it was hardly nothing. So we got permission to go downtown to the rec center if you got a membership, and you could do your hour. And it was like great, you know? But rules are rules. You can't, you could do running, push-ups, sit-ups, you know, that kind of stuff, but you can't be playing racquetball until after 5 o'clock, because then you're on your time, not the government's time. Because there was an incident where someone broke an eye socket, Nick? Do you know anything about that?
I know nothing about it.
Okay. Basketball at the armory. So we'd go down there, and somebody, it was never Jay, it was usually Bambi, that would say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So, 4:05, we're in the racquetball court warming up. And we played, I like to call it the Clydesdale League. Jay was definitely the smallest guy there. Me, Bambi, Russell, Nick, Jay would pop in once in a while. Once in a while we'd get another stray that would, but we're all pretty big guys. And hey, if you had enough of you, let's play doubles. Well, 4 big guys moving around in that little racquetball court makes for a little scary situation. And there's racquetball's like etiquette. Oh, that's a hinder, you were in my way. Okay, we'll replay that. Well, a hinder was more of a, out of the way! And if you could still play through that, that's what you wanted to do. Just move them out of the way, hit the ball. One of the things you learned was never look back, because that's when you're gonna get hit. And one of the other things you learned was, if I could zing it right by his head, you'll hear that, and that'll scare him, and he won't be ready for the ball return. And sometimes you can also, you know, get that little neat bounce, and people are diving all over. We're big guys. You want to dominate the center of the court, because that's the best place to be. And Jay was kind of up there. He was in that center of the court. And then I don't know if he hit the ball or if somebody else hit the ball, but all of a sudden I saw Jay jump up. And he's just floating in the air, and he's probably 4 feet up there. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. But he had some loose-fitting shorts like I got, and I could see a couple things. And the ball was coming straight back at him, and he realized gravity ain't working any faster. And one of the low-hanging fruit got snagged, and 4 feet in the air, he was in the fetal position before he hit the ground. And I don't know I've never, that's still. I like your story better. He's always been an athlete, and he runs all wild. I hope you can run until you're 85.
Any other stories before we turn it over to Jay?
I think he hit himself.
Lee, the floor is yours.
What I remember is Nick coming up behind me. Nick's a big boy. Grabbed me under the arm, picked me up, and said, "You gotta shake him out." And it goes like this, and I'm just like, no, I'm in the fetal position, push me in the corner, keep going, leave me alone. Yeah. I just want to thank everybody for coming. You obviously don't get to the position I've been in without a ton of help. You know, I hate to point people out and thank because I'll forget people. I know that. So if I forget you, I apologize. Joe Pitts was back here somewhere. If he's still there, he's the one that told me when I had my interview for the warrant officer position I got. The one I never applied for. But Joe come to me at drill one day and said, "Hey, your interview's at 2:30. It's like, all right. So I went over, interviewed, got the position. Joe was able to look further ahead than I could at the time. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. We have Russ, Nick, Bambi, all the guys from the old shop, Mike, Eric, you know, those days were different. They were a great time. You know, I appreciate everything that you guys did to help me out through my career. Darren Ketchum, if you don't know him, I don't know if I would have got through Afghanistan without him as a roommate. I mean, we had some great times and some shitty times, but thank you for being there for me. I appreciate it. Let's see. Well, there's obviously a ton of people I'd like to thank. I'm not going to take up everybody else's time. I just want to tell a story. A lot of you have heard this, or some of you, but I think it has so much meaning into life in general. So, when I was deployed to Afghanistan in 2010, 2011, one day Sergeant Joyce comes up to me and said, "Hey, Chief, I got a meeting with the container management NCO I see. Can you come to this meeting with me?" Now, those two had been bucking heads for some time. So I'm like, "Sure, I'll go to the meeting with you. I don't care. What do I got to lose?" So we go walking in, and this E8 black individual is sitting behind the desk. I walk in and he says, "Are you from Mitchell?" I'm like Mitchell, home of the Colonels, home of the Corn Palace, Mitchell? "Yeah." I said, "Well, yes, I am." He says, "You helped me out one time." Now, you would think, if my military career, if I helped out a black master sergeant, I would remember that. Would you? And I'm just like, "Oh, yeah?" He said, "Yeah, you did." Said, "I was an active duty recruiter in Mitchell. And I needed some tables for an event, but I wanted some good tables. And you had just moved into a new maintenance facility. So it's slowly starting to come back. And the local recruiter, give me your contact, you know, maybe he can help you out." And the guy, I call you up and said, "You came out on a Sunday and you got those tables for me." And of course, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I remember that because I think I cut my golf game short to go out and do it. And he said, you came out on a Sunday, you got me those tables, and you hooked me up." And I'm just like, uh-oh.
Yeah, grandpa get it.
So I said, "All right." So he reaches over to Joyce and he grabs this envelope out of his hand that he bought in the meeting. And he says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this for you." Puts it down. I'm like, "That was too easy." Out the door we go. We go walking out the door, and Joyce, I could never do his accent. He was from Maine. Great guy. Anyways, we go walking out the door, and he looks at me and he says, "Chief, how do you always do that?" I looked at him, and I said, "Joyce, I do that I do that by treating people right, is what I told him. So, 5 years prior, when I cut my golf game short to go out and get these tables for this guy I never knew, did I do that so that halfway across the world in Afghanistan, he can make my life better for one day? No, that's not why I did it. I did it because it's the right thing to do, by treating people right. And that's what I put forward for you guys going, is do that, things will work out right for you. That's all I got.
With that, if Jay and his family want to come eat first, and everybody can fill in after that. That's all we have.
See?
What'd you say? If I was a lesbian, this is exactly how I would dress. Okay, let's go.
Wow. Yeah. How long have I been talking about? Oh, man.
It's empty.
I think it's got a little,
You have to read the instructions on it.
What is that, huh?
You're like Uncle
Good
Dumb
one,
and
fuzzy
helping.
We're wearing Santa socks again, eh? He just handed him the sock and goes, yeah.